Hi there, my name is Haroon Rashid. I'm the entertainment reporter for the BBC Asian Network, and today we're doing a very special Facebook Live about an Indian film that seems to have broken all records. Bahubali 2, The Conclusion, is a fantasy epic that released in cinemas worldwide last Friday. It's already on its way to becoming India's highest grossing film in the country itself and the highest grossing Indian film globally. Joining me today is actress Anushka Shetty and director Mr. SSrajamouli. How are you both?
Very good.
Fantastic.
How does it feel when I describe your film with all those record-breaking figures and stats already? That must feel pretty cool.
Very much.
Yeah.
It feels ecstatic, actually. Surrealistic. We are still in a state of daze.
Now, to put this into perspective for people, Bahubali 2, The Conclusion is a Telugu movie. For somebody who doesn't understand what a Telugu movie is, Anushka, why don't you tell us a little bit about the breakdown of Indian cinema? Because many people will be familiar with Bollywood, which is the more globally dominant cinema from India. But where does Telugu cinema fit into all of that?
It's just different languages. Like you have Hindi cinema, then you have Telugu, that's from part of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, south of India, and then you have Tamil Nadu, which has Tamil films. So Bahubali is Tamil and Telugu. We shot it straight two languages,
which is not very often seen in Indian cinema and global cinema. We shoot films in English here and just in English. So you shot this film simultaneously in just two languages or more than that? In two. Two was enough of a challenge, was it?
Yes, it was enough of a challenge. We shot both in Telugu and Tamil, and we dubbed it into Hindi and Malayalam.
And for anybody who doesn't know what the story is, if you could, Rajamouli, give us a gist of the story of Bahubali in a very small... I know it's a very big fantasy epic that's stretched over two long films, very good films, but long films. Give us a gist of what the film's about.
Like you said, it's very difficult to put into a few words, but I would say it is a story of a fight for power between two brothers.
And that's all he's giving you. The rest you won't find out. Now, this is an opportunity for all the fans of Bahubali to get in touch with us now. I have Mr. Rajamouli and Anushka Shetty ready to take your questions, so make sure you leave your comments below and I will put them to them both. Let's walk down, actually, because right now we're at the BFI at the South Bank in London, and your film is actually screening here this evening. Rajamouli, that must feel quite flattering to know that your film is getting shown at this prestigious location.
Yes, it is. Like you were mentioning before, ours is a very small film industry in south of India. In south of India, we have at least four major industries, and Telugu industries being one. And to imagine your film is going from one state to other states itself is an achievement. And from there, it went on to become a pan-Indian film. And from there it went on to go into different locations in US, in Middle East, in Malaysia, in Singapore, in Australia, and now in England,
in London.
In London. Yeah.
You know, what's really interesting is right now the BFI is predominantly showing Hindi films, or Bollywood, as many people would know it better. In fact, all around us are posters of some of the most iconic classic Bollywood films ever made. It's a real shame that there is no Telugu or Tamil filmmaker on the wall right now. But we've got Dilip Kumar, Raj Kapoor, Mehboob Saab. Could we see SSrajamouli up on the wall one day?
Maybe one day, but of course they have those films are classics, and we even have fantastic films down south, and it's sad that many people don't know, but things will change. Things will change, and even south films will adorn this wall someday.
Now, let's come to some comments. Let's actually walk down at the same time. Anushka, we've got a comment here from Ravi Shankar who says, awesome movie, thank you, Bahubali team, we love you. How do you feel when you get all these comments of love?
Thank you, Ravi Shankar, actually. It's quite overwhelming.
Yeah.
It's especially when you work in a movie which has such a beautiful story and then you have such great characterizations. And once you translate it, and that's what we always are waiting for, the response, a beautiful story put out and how the audience are going to react to it. So it's quite overwhelming.
Now, you play Devasena in the film. There's so many Devas and Senas, and it gets confusing at one point. You play a warrior princess in the film. Now, we've got a comment here from Siddharth who says, what were the toughest challenges while shooting this film?
What was challenging for me was to play the mother of Shivadu, Mahendra Bahubali.
Yes, who is the main lead protagonist?
Who is the main lead, yes. To play his love interest, at the same time to play his mother also. Maybe if not for director Rajamouli, I wouldn't have ever thought that I could pull off something like that. So
let's carry on walking. Actually, let's take a seat over here now, because I think we're standing right in the sun and it's getting quite hot over here. For anybody who's just joined us, my name's Haroon. This is SSrajamouli, the director, and Anushka Shetty, the actress of Bahubali to the conclusion. Please come and take a seat. Now, right now, this film has created history all over the world. Let's start with America, actually. Oh, I was going to fall off the sofa then. In America, this is the third highest grossing film this weekend. It's actually in one weekend alone surpassed all records for any Indian films released there. Was that the ambition when you set out to make this film?
No, the ambition was to make a big film, a large film, and the ambition was to get the characterizations as close to perfection as possible. And all the technical teams have been working very hard on to that achieve that feat. Market is never the driving force for us. Getting the characters, the story perfectly onto the screen is our aim. And once we do that, then we look at the numbers. Then we want every rupee to come our way, every dollar.
You're not saying no to it, are you?
No way.
Now, I'm going to get into lots of trouble if I don't read out all these questions from people. So let's move on to Naveen, who says, will there be any future films from SSrajamouli? Have you got any films in the planning? I heard a rumour that you really want to make a quiet, small-budget movie now. Is that true?
I don't know. I want to make a movie which of a story which inspires me.
Right.
If it's a small movie, I'll make a small movie. If it's a big movie, I'll make a big movie. At present, I can't think of anything beyond Bahubali. I need to take some time off before I start looking into any other film.
Padmaja says, what can we expect next from this epic team? So, Anushka, what have you got coming up next? Has this opened new doors and avenues for you?
I'm sure it would. I haven't been listening to any stories right now, but
Right.
I do have a project that I'm already working on, which would be my next release, Bagmati.
Okay. Everything must feel like a bit of an anticlimax after you've done Bahubali 2, right?
Yeah, yes. So, it's still not sunk in. It's quite overwhelming. Each day you're just looking at everyone and just wondering like what's happening around.
Sure.
And let's see, a few more weeks. I hope it sinks in,
Absolutely.
and then we'll see where to take it from there.
Now, I've got a question here from Jyoti. For anybody who doesn't know, Prabhas, the South Indian actor, plays both Mahendra Bahubali and Amrindra Bahubali, the two protagonists of the film. And he's asking you, Rajamouli, how did you decide upon Prabhas for the role of Bahubali?
We worked on a film 10 years before this, and we have been close friends, and we have been sitting and we would chat for hours and hours together, deep into the night, not about Bahubali, but just about different aspects of filmmaking, the philosophy of filmmaking, and we strike a chord with each other. We understand each other very well, and he knows that I have a burning desire to make a very large scale war film,
Right.
and he was game for it. And in fact, he was so much into it. When I asked his dates for 1.5 years for this film, he laughed and said, "You can never make this film in 1.5 years," and he kept himself free for 3.5 years.
Well, it did take 5 years in the end, didn't it?
Yes, in the end it took 5 years to make, and he was there for us. And now he was there even before we started writing the characters clearly. He was in.
Right.
He was there. We took Anushka or Sivagami, Rami Krishna or Katappa. Everyone, we took the actors based on the characters that were written. But with Prabhas, the character was written for him.
Right. So you had especially sculpted that character around him itself. Now, there's another question which I find very interesting from Subecha, who says, can we have films dedicated to important characters like Sivagami Devi and your own character as well? Firstly, have you thought about that? I'm not giving any spoilers away when I say this, but make sure you stay sitting during the credits, because there's a voiceover that implies that there could be another Bahubali.
Yes. See, basically, when we created the characters of Bahubali, we have written so much of backstories for the characters. the stories which are not in the film, because we wanted the characters to be very clearly etched. And those stories themselves had a lot of drama, a lot of intensity, and we are dying to tell those stories. So we went into different mediums to tell those stories. So The Rise of Sivagami, the novel, is already out. It's on the bestsellers list for the past 6 weeks, and we are going to make web series out of it. We are going to make animation series. We are already making a virtual reality film based on the Battle of the Climax. So the world of Bahubali will continue in different mediums. As a film, we concluded the story that we started.
Oh dear.
We concluded. We can't extend it. But who knows? Who knows? Where
Never say never.
Never say never, yes.
Anushka, I've got a great compliment here from you from Gorgi, who says, Anushka, you look so graceful in every frame, and the whole movie is a visual treat. I think it's some kind of experience people will remember for ages and always. Can you be objective when you watch the film? Because I saw it last night, and you were phenomenal, but can you watch it like an audience ever?
I would say that this would be my first film where I watched it as an audience.
Really?
Yes, I've seen it 3 times already.
Wow.
And I'm amazed that I'm able to see myself as Devasena and not myself. Usually I guess that's because the characterizations are so strong. I'm looking forward to watch it a few more times. But then also I would say the credit also goes to, I think, the stylists. It's Rajamouli and Prashanti. Both of them, I feel for everything the first step is to get the look right, and I think they've done a great job with that. So the presence is felt through the look already, and then the characterization.
The characterization after that.
Very intense.
I'm a bit overwhelmed because normally I have a list of questions that I start on, but there's so many audience questions coming in on Facebook. Please do keep the questions coming. I have got them all in front of me. Now, Raja wants to ask, actually, for you, Rajamouli, why don't you work with Rajnikant and break the Hollywood record? Now, let me just explain. Rajnikant is maybe the biggest movie star on the planet. He's a South Indian actor, and in India, when his films are released, a national holiday is declared because people know that nobody's going to turn up to work anyway. They're going to go and watch his films. Now, have you thought about that, Rajamouli? Have you thought about collaborating with Rajnikant? And actually, this ties into another question from Raghu, who says, how did you feel when Rajnikant tweeted about your film?
Oh, fantastic. You see, Rajnikant is he's a humility personified. He's a big star, huge star. People just die to just see him.
Yes.
That kind of star, and the kind of accolades he had for our film, were so overwhelming. And to make a film with him, that would be a dream come true for any director. I'm no exception. But I always believe that it is a story that should drive you to get the right casting. If I have a story for him, if a story inspires me to make a film with him, I would be the happiest man on the planet.
Amazing. Anushka, I want to ask you something I was talking to Mr. Rajamouli about when we were walking down. It's just that this whole reception to your film is so overwhelming. And like I mentioned right at the start, this is not a Bollywood film. It must be very important to stress that. This is not a Bollywood film. It's a Telugu movie. As a Telugu actress, did you ever think that your opportunities would be limited because you weren't working in Bollywood? I've never ever known of a Telugu film to premiere here at the BFI before. This is a first of its kind.
See, I've never ever seen movies as... I've never ever wanted to feel that I want to be a part of Bollywood or Hindi cinema or any other cinema. I've always wanted to work with good directors and do some great stories, do some good movies, great scripts. But the whole thing actually goes on to saying, I remember Rajamouli was telling earlier that, end of the day, a story has no geographical barriers, and I think Bahubali goes on to prove that.
Yes.
That a well-said story, great characterizations, and the way it's been put across it's broken all geographical barriers. Everyone connects to the same emotions. Everyone's enjoying the movie. So I've heard that from him, but actually today we're living it, we're seeing it happening all over. We've been traveling, and it's quite overwhelming actually.
Yes. Now, if I had to describe this film or compare it to anything, I don't think there's an exact comparison I could make, but the scale is very much on a Lord of the Rings kind of epic scale. I want to talk a little bit about censorship, because the film is quite violent, it is quite brutal. But as a filmmaker in India, do you feel like you have to tone down things to avoid being censored? Because obviously censorship is a big issue in the country right now.
See, the kind of epic films epic stories that we had in India, that the stories that were told to us for 1 billion plus people right from their childhood had a lot of violence in it. No, we grew up with those stories.
So you're talking about the Mahabharata, the Ramayana.
The Ramayana, yes. We were told the stories from the beginning, and the stories shaped generations for thousands of years.
Yes.
Stories are those stories are the lifeline of India, of Indian civilization for thousands of years. And suddenly the censorship raising up the flags because few people are objecting for this and that irks every filmmaker, not just me. And we generally don't try to tone down keeping the censorship in mind. We just go ahead with what the story demands. So, and it is not that mindless violence. We get aversion to mindless violence in any form of story. The violence there should be a reason why the violence is there. If that is there, it will be well received. And I don't think any of the filmmakers, including me, tone down the violence, keeping the censorship in mind. We'll think of it like, okay, let's cross the bridge when it comes.
Now, I want to ask Anushka, this comment is lovely that's just come in from Surya. Surya says, my parents used to tell me how wonderful that feeling watching Amitabh and Dharmendra in Sholay is, and now after watching Bahubali 2, I've got a story to tell my child. How does it feel being part of a film like that? You are the Hema Malini, who is a legendary Bollywood actress, to Prabhas's character in Bahubali, essentially.
I would agree with Surya. I also have a story to tell my grandchildren and I can very proudly look back and tell them I was a part of Bahubali.
Yeah. I feel like you are in a bit of a state of shock, to be honest. I feel like you're still taking this all in, aren't you?
I am.
We should have caught you in about a week or so's time when it had fully kind of settled down. But it's great to see...
I hope it settles down in a week. I don't think so, but I hope so.
Now, for you, Rajamouli, it's a question that somebody said earlier. Somebody said earlier, will you make a Hollywood film with Rajinikanth? But somebody is now just saying, is there any chance? This is Anil who's saying, is there any chance of you making a Hollywood movie? To put this into perspective, Fast and Furious was the highest grossing film in America this weekend. The third highest grossing film was Bahubali. In one weekend, it made more than any Indian film has ever made in North America. And it's on its way to becoming the highest grossing Indian film globally. Other directors who've made films in India that have gained critical acclaim, like Ritesh Batra, for example, made The Lunchbox, has now made a British film. Can we see you making a Hollywood film?
I don't know. I would love to make Indian cinema, Indian stories. I would like to make Indian stories, but I would like to make them for the world to see. I don't know whether I can go to Hollywood, and Hollywood is a completely different ball game. It's not like if you want to go in, you can go in. The doors have to be open from that side.
Right.
But even if they're open from that side, I have my reservations. I want to take my stories, not to tell those stories, because I'm well versed with my kind of stories. And if the door opens from that side, maybe, I don't know.
There's so many questions coming in. I want to ask this one very quickly from Moin Khan. He says, is there a successor to the Katapata characterization in your other projects? Is there Katappa, is there going to be another character similar to that in one of your other projects? Have you started writing anything similar?
No, nothing. We haven't thought about anything as of yet. No, Katappa might not have a successor, but definitely in my films to come, there will be characters as intense as him.
Right. So that we've got in the planning. And is Anushka signed up for any of them yet? I hate to put you on the spot.
Not at all. She's been a very close friend, and this is my second film working with her. In fact, she's the only heroine with whom I worked twice.
Right.
And I
consider yourself lucky.
And I mentioned many times that I would team up with her anytime.
Let's fire through some of these questions before we wrap up. Divya says, will you do a film with Vikram? He can give you more than 5 years.
Like I said before, I should have the story. If I have the story, I would rush to the stars, and I will get them on board by hook or crook.
Ma, for you, this is Anushka. This is for you from Ma, who says, Indian director who you admire the most.
SSrajamouli.
Oh, okay. Barring SSrajamouli.
I like Mani Ratnam.
Yes.
I like. There's some South actors from Malayalam industry, and you have from here. There's Bapu Garu.
Yeah, Bapu
Is
his
one
name is
of our
Bapu. He's a Telugu director,
legends.
legendary Telugu director.
he's no
Amazing.
more. There's K. Vishwanath Garu. There's quite a few.
She's putting her wish list down right now.
No, they're not making movies. Like
Okay.
other than Maniratnam Garu, the rest of them are not making any movies. I wish I was there to have worked with them.
Right. Also, a question from you that came in for you that came in earlier from Nicole, who says, "Would you work with Prabhas again?"
Of course, again and again and again.
And very quickly, let's end on a comment actually, and how this makes you feel. Ashok says, "Great watching a live Telugu interview on BBC News. It's great that Rajamouli has been on BBC News. Thank you for making Telugu films so proud, and we are proud of you, sir."
I should thank the millions of fans out there who kept the buzz alive after the first film released. We took 2 years to release the second film, and there are millions of fans who kept the buzz alive. I should thank them wholeheartedly. Without whose support and love and support, we wouldn't have been here. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
Amazing. Anushka, do you have any final words before we leave? Have you calmed down a little bit? Have you got over the shock?
No, definitely it's overwhelming. I'd want to thank every single person out there who's supported the story that we had to tell, and the kind of response today is, I can just keep saying it's overwhelming again and again. But I want to thank each and every one there, and the cast and the crew, entire crew. There are so many of us, the entire crew, the thousands of people who worked on this project who are back home. Some of them are here. Without all of them, this project wouldn't have been possible, and without the audience response, this wouldn't have been possible. So thanks to all of them.
Amazing. Well, Anushka Shetty, Rajamouli, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for speaking to me today on the BBC News Facebook Live, and I hope the screening this evening goes really well as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Namaskar.
Thank you. Thank you.